And I'm finally live. All right. I don't know if Mercury is in retrograde or what, but technology just does not want to work for me today. So I'm live a little bit later than I planned. Oh, well, the point is I'm here. Hello, and welcome to today's Marketing Tuesday. So today I want to talk, it's Tip Tuesday. I always like the alliteration when I can make it work. So today, this week, first of all, quick update. I know on my YouTube channel, I don't always go live every week. I do usually post a blog post on my website every week. It's either a new blog, and then I do a video to go along with the blog post. So the blog always has content going up every Tuesday. That is going to change effective immediately. I'm going to start doing it every other week. So if you are used to seeing me on here more or less every week, I know I'm not super consistent with my YouTube channel, but that is going to change. It's going to be more like every other week, and that should be more consistent. Hopefully, by cutting the amount of content I'm creating in half, it should make it easier for me to publish something and go live on YouTube every time that I want to publish something on my website. So that is it. That is the update. So stay tuned for that. There will be more videos coming. Don't freak out if you don't see me for a while, but just letting you know it's gonna go down a little bit. So in the meantime, what are we talking about this week? This week we are talking about the importance of visual content in your everything. On your website, on social media, everywhere you go, there needs to be visuals. No, I'm not a photographer or a graphic designer or a videographer, not my specialty. And no, I'm not announcing any new products or services in that area. Still not my area of expertise, never will be. I'm decent with a camera, but I know people who are much better with a camera than I am. So the reason I want to talk about it is because you can't escape how important it is in marketing, right? I do talk about words and the importance of words and your keywords and how to optimize to make Google happy and all that good stuff, all super important. But if people come to your website and see just a giant block of text, they're going to get a little, not intimidated. They might be intimidated to an extent, right? But really what's going on the conscious level is, I don't know if I have time to read all this, and they're going to click away and go somewhere else. Whereas if they see some content and then a catchy image that catches their attention, then they're going to be more likely to keep reading. Especially once they get scrolling and they see more images and more subheadings, more stuff to engage them, more of a variety of content. That's going to be more likely to keep them going. So remember, we are visual creatures, right? We evolved to pay attention to what's going on around us visually. We did not evolve with text, with written language. That was not a thing that our brains ever had to pay attention to. It was not. It wasn't something that existed. And when it did start to exist, it wasn't something that was like life or death. I really need to pay attention to this. Instead, we were looking around us, seeing if there was any danger. So, or any opportunities. Maybe there's food over there, right? We got to be on the lookout for things like that. So, hence, we are visual creatures. We all know the saying, picture is worth 1,000 words. That's because it takes something like, it's because a picture can say a lot, right? But I also want to hammer home the fact that it takes, I think, 13 milliseconds for our brains to process an image. So a fraction of a second to process an image, whereas we can't even read 1,000 words in that much time, much less process all of that. So that's the other reason. It kind of gives our brains a break, right? You see all the words, you're trying to interpret them, your brain is analyzing them. It actually is a lot of work to read and write, whereas looking at an image, right? It's one of the reasons that a lot of us, when my brain is just dead, I'll either listen to an audiobook or a podcast, or I'll watch TV, because that requires very little brain power compared to reading. So that is why we love images and we tend to gravitate towards images. So yes, they are super important. Yes, you need to use them. So when it comes to, images versus words, not really an either or which is better. It's more like you need both. Why are visuals important? Just covered that. Visuals as information is huge. So on the one hand, there's how your audience uses visuals to gather information, right? So from a social media perspective, people do this all the time. If you have a giant block of text, and yes, I've heard from multiple experts on social media that, yeah, the longer content helps with your searchability on the platform, helps your visibility on the platform, and can help engage people, keep them engaged with your content longer. But they're going to look at that image first. If there's no image to go along with the post, they're not even going to look at it. They're just going to keep scrolling. You need something to stop the scroll, and that's going to be an image. It doesn't care how good your words are. It doesn't care if you put them in big, bold, capital letters. They're going to keep scrolling unless they see something that makes them stop in about 13 milliseconds, right? Maybe give them a second or two, right? It doesn't have to be a fraction of a second. But again, we do make these decisions super quickly. Is this attention grabbing? Does this make me want to know more? So if it does not make them want to know more, they're going to keep scrolling, but they're going to use that image to make that decision. The other way you can use visuals for information is anytime is to put things in a visual context for your readers, right? I do this all the time when I'm writing and I'm trying to paint an image. We talk about this all the time, right? They painted an image with their words. Yeah, that's great. Or you could just actually use an image. Sometimes that's just easier to show people what you're trying to say, whether that's describing a scene or data. I use this a lot as someone who works with a lot of data, right? It's like you need to know what the data is. What are all the numbers? Some people are really good at numbers. I'm not great at numbers. It really helps me, and it helps most of us. Again, we're visual creatures. You can take those numbers and put them into a chart or a graph or some sort of visual representation of those numbers and that data. That makes it much easier for us to understand. We can not glance at that. We might have to spend a little more time with it, but not nearly as much time going, wait, what are these numbers? And then divided by this, but that's okay. Takes significantly longer, right? Whereas the graph or chart is going to be much more engaging and much easier for us to understand. So use visuals to not only to complement what you're saying, but to enhance what you're saying. Show yourself, photos of yourself, videos of yourself. It's why I come on here and do this every week, every other week, right? It's because I know people want to see me. The more digital we get, the more people want to see a person on the other side of the screen, on the other side of the website, right? We want to make sure there's a real person there and not, just a robot or someone who put up a website and then abandoned it, right? We all know people engage with people they know, like, and trust. They buy from people they know, like, and trust. Nothing will get that like and trust more than showing your face. You can't trust someone who doesn't show their face, right? Think about the Wizard of Oz. It's a little man hiding behind a curtain. How much do you trust that man? Think of someone out wearing a mask, like a full face mask, and you can't see anything of their face all day, every day. Are you going to trust that person? No, you can't even see that person. Show your face. Don't worry about it being perfect. Quite the contrary, you should make sure that it is not perfect. There's a reason I do live videos. There's a reason every social media platform has been investing in live videos, and they are promoting and increasing the visibility of live videos over pre-recorded videos. It is because people want to see you live. They want to see you mess up. And okay, yeah, sometimes it's a little bit of meanness, a little bit of, they messed up. I saw that. Most of the time, it's because that makes you real. It makes you relatable because we have all messed up. We have all flubbed a word. We have all accidentally uploaded a photo or a video onto social media sideways instead of right side up. We've all done it. We've all been there. So if people see you doing that, that earns their trust because they see, and it makes you more relatable to them, which again is going to earn trust. If they can't relate to you, they can't trust you. So if there are no photos of yourself, no videos of yourself on your website, people are going to go, I don't know what it is about this. I mean, the content is great and yeah, the images look good, but I don't know, something just feels off. They won't be able to put their finger on it, but I can tell you it will be because they can't see the person behind the website and they have not earned their trust. So yes, show pictures of yourself. Yes, create videos of yourself. Don't worry about it being perfect. People don't want perfect. People want real. We have seen this increasingly on social media. I think the beginning of social media did kind of gravitate towards the like perfectly posed and the perfect background and all of the things, right? But the more that we get online, the more time we spend online, the more people are gravitating towards. I mean, people have gotten sick of that, right? The more people have gravitated towards content that is real, shows people the way we see them every day in real life. Video, also super important. If you've ever tried to watch TV and while doing something else, this used to drive me crazy until I took a psych class and understood, like, it's not me, they're manipulating me to continue watching the screen, right? I would be sitting, watching TV, or my family's watching TV and I'm trying to do something else. And I cannot for the life of me stop looking at the screen. And I will just find myself just staring at the screen and going, oh, wait, I was supposed to be focusing on such and such. Super hard to look away. Again, keep in mind, from an evolutionary perspective, we have to keep track of what's going on around us. If we don't, there could any movement could be, again, it could be opportunity. It could also be danger. That could be a predator causing the bushes over there to move. It might just be the wind, or it could be something I really need to look out for. So I'm going to pay attention and look over there until I'm certain that it's safe. And then I'll go do something else until it moves again. And then suddenly I got to look over there again, right? So we are primed to look at stuff that keeps moving. And again, it shows the real you. There's a real person over there. Super important. So absolutely use video. And again, live video is where it's at. No one wants to see the super straight-laced scripted, and people can tell if it's super scripted. So don't do it. Don't do it. Just tell people what they want to hear, tell people what they want to know, answer the questions that they are asking. Try not to use and too much. That as I proceed to use but that is something I'm working on myself, right? Because it does just sounds bad. But again, people know that you're a real human and you're just trying to tell them what they want to hear. So if they hear the occasional and unless there comes some kind of like speech grader, right? They're not going to be sitting there counting your ums and uhs. And if they are, well, ignore them. That it's not actually important. Next up, okay, so quick, last point. The impact of SEO on visuals. I am an SEO person. I can't let you go without talking about the impact of SEO. Impact on SEO of your visuals and your videos. So yes, visuals are great. Yes, video is great. Yes, you should use them, but keep in mind it slows down processing time. It takes much longer to load images and much, much longer to load videos. And we have become, this is especially true of, longer videos, bigger images. There's a reason that your website should have images of a certain size. If they get too big, it takes longer to load, right? Those big banner ads, which yes, I have on my website. I know, but I do try to limit my photos otherwise, because yes, it looks great, but it takes a while to load. And if it takes too long to load, Google pays attention to that. Google does not like stuff that provides what it calls a bad user experience. It wants a really good page experience. So if it takes too long to load, it's like after, I think 3 seconds, Google is going to start downgrading you in the rankings because you take too long to load. Real life people, we live in a world of instant gratification. So we have become, our patience has taken a nosedive. Our ability to stop and wait for something to load, unless we really, really want that specific website, we are going to click away and find what we need somewhere else. So absolutely make sure your website loads quickly, which means not too many images, not too many videos. You got to make sure that you have them, but you have a good mix of images, again, of the right size, of videos, not too long. Also, embedding your video from YouTube onto your website helps with that loading issue. It's not going to have as hard of a time loading because it's coming from YouTube. So that is one way to get around that with videos. So yes, you should have videos on your website, but that's a way to get around it. And again, so not too many images, not too many videos. Do regular SEO audits. Make sure your page load speed is, again, 3 seconds or less. And if it gets above that, if it starts creeping up, take a look at some of those images and videos. It might be time to take some of those down or shrink them. So, and always include an alt tag. That's a little bit of HTML embedded in the content in the image or video that tells Google what it's all about. Google is working, it's working on it, on reading audio and visual content, right? It's still not great at it. It still relies on text to figure out what this content is all about. So that's why you need text and not just audio visual content. It's also why you need an alt tag in that, in the content, in the HTML of the image and or video, right? Make sure that you are using that space as a way to give Google just a brief description of what this is. What's here? Google goes, okay, that's what this is. This is a picture of a keyboard and a mouse and a couple of hands typing on the keyboard. Great, moving on. Don't worry about including keywords into the alt tag. I hear a lot of SEO professionals say that you have to do that, but Google not too long ago said, actually, we only use that for image search. So if you want those images to come up in an image search specifically for that keyword, great. Go ahead and make sure that keyword is included in the alt tag. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Just make sure that it's a brief, accurate description of that image or video. That's it. That's everything I have for you today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, I am not a photographer or a videographer or a graphic designer. Graphic designer who did, there it is, the design cover, beautiful cover design for my book, Content Marketing Made Easy, Ginny Konziolka. You can find her on LinkedIn, and I cannot remember the name of her website, but you should contact her. She is here in the Chicagoland area, but she's like me. She's just working on her computer and doing Zoom calls I've actually never met her in person now that I think about it. We've only ever met on Zoom. So she is awesome, super easy to work with, graphic designer. Highly recommend that. Spider Mika Hemmons, Spider is in quotes, that's not actually part of her name. But Mika Hemmons is a great brand photographer. Nathaniel Filbert is another awesome brand photographer. You should talk to him. And Danielle Brown and Chuba Creative. Danielle Brown is one. Queen Bee Consulting is her company. She's a great videographer. Chuba Creative with Michael and Elise Stein is another great video marketing company. So I have used them and I've worked with Danielle personally. I know all these people personally. So absolutely reach out to them. You can find them all on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. And of course, if you have more questions on, content marketing, SEO, psychology of marketing, all of the things, you can find that over on my website, AV, as in my initials, Allison Verhalen. That is avwritingservices.com. That's it. Have a great weekend. Happy blogging, everyone.